So both of them saw. Then I said, now I've shown you what I can do. Now why don't you show me what
you can do?
He did Shirshasana. The moment he was doing Shirshasana, he was gasping for breath. Then I told him, this is not the way to do. Please come down. So I will take myself on my own. So I adjust his head, I adjust his shoulders, and took him to Shirshasana. The moment I took him myself, lifting his body to Shirshasana, he felt something exhilarating in his body. The moment he did for 2-3 minutes, he came down, never experienced in my life this exhilarating feeling in Shirshasana.
In fact, I believe he called you his best violin teacher.
Best violin yoga teacher. Later he told me, everybody taught me on what to play on the violin. You were the only man who taught me how to play the violin. So that made him to call me the best violin teacher.
BKS Iyengar's greatest strength is the fact that he has trained so many teachers, making it possible to spread his way of yoga around the world. Yet, he had an uneasy relationship with his yoga guru, his older brother-in-law, Tirumalai Krishnamacharya. He learned yoga when he went to live with his sister and brother-in-law in Mysore as a teenager.
I was only 15 years old. And I came from a family where I had lost my father. Naturally, we had to depend, in those days, we had to just like gulams, slaves, because we had to work under them, whoever it may be, whether brother, sister, or whoever it may be. Even I had the same treatment with my brothers, so there was no difference. But when he took me to yoga, he neglected me, knowing very well that I could not do. Because he lost his pet student.
That's when you got some attention.
That is then he gave me the attention. But he was demanding, I want this, I want that. And he was creating fear complex in me more and more. He said, I will not give you food. You cannot eat food if you are not presented that.
Today, in hindsight, when you have taught so many people, do you think that's a good way to teach?
No, I don't think that is a good, but though that quality is in me, but I don't force that way. Because he did like that, I learned something that I should not give that type of fearness in people. His way of actions on me reacted on me, saying that I should not go in that way, but I should give sympathetically so that I could make yoga popular.
And yet you are also known to be a pretty tough guy, isn't it, when you're teaching?
I am a tough guide. I am a tough guide on this subject. Because I suffer both good and bad in my sadhana. As such, I did not want any of my students to suffer bad.
In 1975, Iyengar opened the Ramamani Iyengar Memorial Yoga Institute in Pune in memory of his wife. He officially retired from teaching in 1984 but continues to be active in the world of Iyengar Yoga, teaching special classes and writing books.
You spend 4 hours a day
today
on yoga?
Yes.
3 hours
At this
on
age,
asanas?
I don't stop.
3 hours on asanas and 1 hour doing
if I
pranayama?
do 1 hour pranayama, and sometimes even in the evenings, I do a lot of pranayama. Deliberate practice of pranayama is 1 hour. Non-deliberate pranayama goes on.
Would you advise people to study on their own today, or you think a teacher is important? Because you studied on your own.
No, this is just one rare case. No, a teacher is needed. But a teacher are rare today. Gurus and teachers are very, very rare today. That's why I found out lots of props, which you see here.
The use of these props, when you first thought of this innovation, is it instinctive, or is it, if you look at sculptures and
No, it is instinctive.
Text,
when I had this scooter accident, my spine got tilted. But only I can show you in pranayama book that how my spine is tilted, but nobody can understand that. To see light on yoga, my spine is very straight, very alert, very active. But in pranayama, you don't find that activity of the spinal division or the spinal vertebrae as you see the divisions in the asanas. Because that accident brought me. Then I became a raw beginner. Then I thought I had to do with support and I had to break the injuries. So I had to remodel all these things so that I can practice, one. And two, I should not stop yoga at all. Suppose I lose my limbs. Should I stop or should I use some methodology to maintain my practices? So I created all these things so that if half the leg is amputated, I might do standing poses. Now if anyway amputated person I can teach. How can they do it? Because I have done on my own.
There are no references of this in any of our old scriptures and sculptures.
For example, take Narasimha. He was tied with a cloth. So is it not a support? So that is enough for me to say, if Lord Narasimha in his dhyana crosses his legs like that and tie, then I thought, why should I not find out means? And we read in the paper, in the early days, that yogis were doing asana on a tree. How do they do? Then I started tying these ropes. So they can do Shirshasana on these ropes. So they were using like that probably. So I was thinking this way, that they must have developed. If you go and see a banyan tree, the roots, they join together and form a loop. So even I saw in Bhimeshwar, and I thought, one day I showed to my children, "Arey, you can do Shirshasana here." So I found that this is how yogis were doing probably. And that's how I developed from that these props.
Is there a right way and a wrong way of doing yoga according to you?
No, there should be right way, there cannot be wrong way. Raw practice is a wrong way, right practice is a right way, so much I can tell you.
As a novice, how do I decide whether I go and buy a CD of Baba Ramdev's or go to the Iyengar Institute near my house?
For example, so as I told you, general practice is to be needed. God has given us discriminative power. So through that discriminative power, you have to think yourself. Now I have done it. So as I said, I was empty. I did not feel any feedback from him. So you have to think, if there is no feedback, what wrong I am doing, so can I find out? So you can find the presentations, and then from those presentations, you can say, this seems to be better than that.
So
then
again, you're saying it's your own trial and error and your own decision.
The student has to decide.
Okay, Guruji, with the kind of respect, acclaim, recognition, love, affection that you have got from people, how do you ensure that you don't become, that your ego doesn't get in the way?
I'm grateful to God and yoga that they are punishing me. That's why I'm happy to get some injuries every now and then, so I become quiet. I'm happy that something comes to me so that I can devote my time more and more to my practice and be free from this egoistic cult.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one final question. I normally don't ask this question because, on a show which is going to be called Being BKS Iyengar, it's the simplest question to ask, and that is what is it like being BKS Iyengar? But I'm going to ask you that because with yoga, you have seen inside yourself.
Yes.
What have you seen of yourself?
Myself,
who are you?
I can live on the first letter, capital I, is the soul. So I can live in that capital I without any shake or without any movement in my intelligence or my mind. But that is not my aim in life. My aim in life is that I have suffered and I should share this knowledge with others. So I know that I'm having liberation. I know what freedom is. But somehow or other, my mind says, no, please share what I have got. So I come back to my life. And if you leave me, I go back to that original life. My life is, I have suffered, I don't want the world to suffer. So as far as possible, can I build them up? Can I give them something so that they can live happily?
Well, you've said it. Thank you for sharing so much of your time and your thoughts with us.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.